Good morning, students. So today we will discuss about epidermis. So far we will discuss about plant tissues, flowchart, simple permanent, meristematic tissues, then simple permanent tissues, and we are now going to talk about epidermis. And our next topic will be complex permanent tissue. So epidermis is the outermost layer or outermost tissues in case of plants or animals. Epidermis, so derm means skin, epi means the upper layer. So epidermis plays a major role in, we can say, covering the our outer layer of the skin. It is also a protective layer. Let's talk about, so it is the outermost layer of the cell called epidermis. The outermost layer in case of plant cell, animal cell is the epidermis, and it is usually made up of single layer of cells. But in case of some plants living in dry habitat, epidermis is having thicker. Why so? Because epidermis, for example, desert plant, they are having dry habitat, so they can't afford loss of water, and loss of water is known as transpiration in form of water vapor. So transpiration is a process in which there is a loss of excess of water through aerial parts of the plants like stomata. So in transpiration, water is lost through the stomata. But in case of dry plants living in dry habitat, they have to, we can say, store more water. They can't, we can say, afford loss of water. So that's why the epidermis layer is much more thick compared to the normal, we can say, plants. So there is a topic known as xerophytes, mesophytes, hydrophytes. The plants which are living on like mango tree, rose plants, normally these are mesophytes. Those plants which are aquatic plants, they are known as hydrophytes. And those plants which are living in desert, or we can say dry habitat, they are known as xerophytes. Xerophytes, mesophytes and hydrophytes. Hydro means aquatic plants. So we are talking about the xerophytes. In case of xerophytes, epidermis is thicker because to protect against water is lost due to transpiration. So the more the thicker layer, so water is not lost. The entire surface of plant has this outer covering of epidermis. So where is epidermis? Each and every, we can say, outer layer is known as epidermis. It protects all parts of the plant. So in case of animal also, the upper layer is epidermis. You might have heard about dermatologist. This derm word means skin, and from that word the skin special doctor are known as dermatologist. So epidermis is the first layer of the skin in case of animals or plants. Epidermis cells on the aerial parts. What is aerial? Like topmost. Aerial parts of the plants often secrete a waxy water resistance layer on their outer surface. So there is a cuticle layer. You might have seen in case of leaf also. If you have seen dicot leaves, what are dicot leaves? It is easy to distinguish. Normally you might have seen the dark green leaves, okay, and there is a light green color on the, we can say, opposite side. So the dark green is having a shiny layer. आपने ऐसे कोई लीफ देखा होगा, ऊपर डार्क ग्रीन और उसमें कुछ चमक होगी, a shining layer होगा. That layer is known as cuticle layer. तो एपिडर्मिस के ऊपर भी एक, वी कैन से, लेयर आ सकता है इन केस ऑफ लीफ, इन केस ऑफ द एरियल पार्ट्स जैसे स्टेम, टू प्रोटेक्ट द लॉस ऑफ वाटर, एंड दैट वी कैन से वैक्सी लेयर इज नोन एज क्यूटिकल. तो आपने जो डार्क ग्रीन कलर का लीफ देखा होगा, उसके नीचे लाइट ग्रीन का शेड होगा, उसको हम कहते हैं डाइकॉट लीफ, और उस पर जो शाइनिंग लेयर होता है, थोड़ा सा चमक थोड़ी होती है, एक नीचे होता है डल लेयर, एक ऊपर होता है डार्क ग्रीन कलर का शाइनिंग लेयर. ऐसे लीफ को हम वी कैन से, जो डिफरेंट कलर होते हैं ना, ऊपर अलग कलर नीचे अलग कलर, उसको हम कहते हैं डाइकॉट लीफ. और ऊपर जो चमक होती है डार्क ग्रीन कलर पे लीफ के, दैट वैक्सी लेयर इज नोन एज क्यूटिकल व्हिच इज अबव द एपिडर्मिस टू प्रोटेक्ट द लॉस ऑफ वाटर. This helps in protection against the loss of water, mechanical injury and parasites invasions. Since it is having protective role. Epidermis is having protective role. Cells of epidermis tissue form continuous layer without any intercellular space. So just note down this, as epidermis is having protective role, so it protects the plants from the mechanical injury from the parasitic invasions like fungi, or also it plays a protect layer to stop the loss of water. So that's why there is no intercellular space. It is a continuous layer. उसमें कोई intercellular space नहीं है. ये tissues के cells के अंदर कैसा continuous layer है. Now in epidermis also there is a stomata. Stomata you might have in primary classes. Stomata are the, we can say, cells through which, or the small pores through which there is a gases exchange occur. कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का आना, ऑक्सीजन का बाहर निकलना, वाटर H2 मॉलिक्यूल्स का बाहर निकलना in terms of water vapor. This the exchange are occur from the small pores, and these small pores are known as stomata, which are present on the, we can say, epidermis layer of the leaf of or plants. The small pores in the epidermis of the leaf are known as stomata. और स्टोमेटा की ओपनिंग क्लोजिंग अगर आपने पढ़ी होगी सेल चैप्टर में, इट इज ड्यू टू द गार्ड सेल्स. Guard cells are the two kidney shaped cells due to which the stomata get open and close because of the osmosis. Osmosis की वजह से, if you have come across this mechanism of opening and closing of stomata, तो stomata के is enclosed by two kidney shaped cells which contain chloroplast, and due to it then there is a process known as osmosis, due to which the guard cells swell up and stomata get open, and when guard cells shrinks, the stomata get closed. So there are two kidney shaped cells and which are known as guard cells. They are necessary for exchange of gases. So stomata are necessary for exchange of. So transpiration is a process in which there is a loss of water in the form of water vapor to stomata. Means plant में जो excess water होता है उसको बाहर निकालना पड़ता है, the excess water, and this transpiration is also responsible for ascent of sap to upliftment of the water. Roots में जो पानी आता है उसको ऊपर तक पहुंचाना चाहिए. उसका एक फैक्टर है transpiration. So transpiration is important to cool the plant for ascent of sap, and this transpiration means loss of excess of water. प्लांट के अंदर जो एक्सेस पानी है वो स्टोमेटा से निकल जाता है इन द फॉर्म ऑफ वाटर वेपर, एंड दिस आल्सो अकर थ्रू स्टोमेटा. सो स्टोमेटा ऑलरेडी वी हैव डिस्कस. स्टोमेटा द स्मॉल pores which are guarded by two kidney cells, that is guard cells, and due to osmosis these guard cells swells up and stomata open, and when guard cells shrinks the stomata get closed. So stomata is a pore due to which exchange of gases occur and as well as transpiration process occur. So epidermal cells of roots. Roots क्या करते हैं? पानी absorb करते हैं, minerals absorb करते हैं soil में से. So the epidermis of root hair is also known as epiblema. Okay, epiblema is epidermis of root cells. So root absorb the water and minerals from the soil, and obviously it is conducted by xylem to the upper parts of the plants. Then in desert plants have thick layer to prevent the excess loss of water to transpiration. Transpiration होगा तो पानी तो loss होने वाला है, but desert plants they don't have enough water, so they can't afford, we can say, excess loss of water. So there is an extra thick covering on epidermis that is known as cutin. Normally सारे leaves के ऊपर cuticle होता है. Cuticle is the shiny waxy layer, okay, to prevent excess transpiration. But in case of desert plant, the epidermal layer is quite thick, which we already discussed. And this thick layer of epidermis in case of desert plants or xerophyte plants is known as cutin. Okay, and when you talk about epidermal cells, these epidermal cells they grow on, become permanent tissues, and they become thicker tissues, and like cork or bark of tree. So bark of tree, which is like an almost dead cells and which is impervious to the water or gases something, and they're having a chemical known as suberin, which is impervious to the gases. So this epidermal cells later on becomes the secondary stage, and they becomes this bark of the tree, cork of the tree. So this was about epidermis. Epidermis, the outer layer, it is the protective layer. Okay, it is the, we can say it consists of single layers generally, but in case of desert plants or xerophyte plants, it is a thick layer. Okay, so this was about epidermis, and if you're in doubt, you can ask.